Hi everyone. I've decided to put together a short sequence. This will be a gentle flow. If you have a block or a bolster, that'd be cool. If not, you can use a couple of thick books. Let's get started. So we will start in a child's pose. Knees can be together or slightly wider, whatever feels more comfortable in your body. Lay your upper body down onto the floor, forehead touches down. Arms can be extended in front of you or to your sides, your choice. I'm going to stay up because you won't hear me. And just think about the weight of your body being supported by the earth. Feel the touch of air on your skin, where your body meets your clothes. And the beautiful weight of your body being supported by the earth. No matter how crazy things get out there, we are constantly being supported. As Mother Earth is always there for us. Begin to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. Finding weight into your hips, allowing the side body to get long as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, feel your upper body come down over your legs even more. If your arms are extended, you can reach through your fingertips, feel your shoulders engage. Using your inhale to lift your belly off your thighs and reach it a little further, getting more length in the lower back. Allow each exhale to ground you just a little bit more. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters through the nostrils. And how your body warms it on its exit. From here, if your arms are extended behind you, bring them forward. Let both hands plant down firmly onto your mat. And slowly start to lift your body off of your legs, finding yourself in a tabletop position. Elbows and shoulders are lined up, and same with the knees and the hips. Hands fall where they want, toes tucked or untucked, your choice. Elongate through your spine as you feel your navel pull in. Send your tailbone back and elongate through the top of your head. Slight rocking motion front to back. Feeling the weight being distributed evenly, first in the hands as you lean forward, and into the hips as you lean back. Starting to warm up the spine here, we can find ourselves in a little bit of a cat-cow. As you start your inhale, begin to lift your tailbone, let your belly drop and pull your chest through your shoulders. Chin lift. And as you exhale, press your hands into the floor, start to tuck your tailbone and let your upper back lift up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades slide apart on the back as your head falls down between your arms. allowing the inhale to initiate the movement as your tailbone begins to lift and the top of your head reaches towards the ceiling. Actively feel the flesh under your navel pull towards your thighs as your heart pulls forward, creating space in the solar plexus. And when the exhale starts, the tailbone begins to round down, lifting the lumbar and up between the shoulder blades. Press the hands into the mat. Taking a couple more rounds here, slow and sweet. Using your breath to guide you through the movement. When you feel ready, let's all meet in a neutral spine. Feel your tailbone pull back as the navel pulls in and up, and the top of the head reaches forward. Untuck the toes if they've been tucked, and pull your hips towards your heels. Allow your body to lay down over your legs, and your forehead to come to the floor. Slowly begin to roll your body forward, laying it down completely. Full front body on the mat. Hands are under the shoulders. Use your inhale to pull the chest forward and up. Exhale brings you down. And again, because it's nice, inhale. Maybe with a smile on your face. Exhale to come down. Tuck your toes, use your knees to lift your hips up, and let your hips find your heels, forehead on the floor. Bring your body back up into tabletop position. Bringing the right foot between the hands. Maybe creeping this foot forward just a little bit to feel the hips sink. Feeling a sensation of opening in the left side. Fingers can stay tented. Maybe you need a bolster for your hands. Or maybe hands on the knees is easier. Feel the hips sink down and forward, and the chest lengthens up. Allow both hands to come back to the mat. Right foot steps back, meeting the left. Hips find heels, forehead on the floor. Press your hands into the mat and pull your body forward. Lay it down completely. Use your next inhale to lift your chest. And the exhale brings you down. Tuck your toes. Use your knees to lift your hips. Hips come back to heels. You can keep your toes tucked under here. Just open the back of the feet. Bringing the weight into the heels. Forehead touches down to the floor. Use your inhale to lift back up into your tabletop position. This time the left foot will step between your hands. Creeping that foot forward if necessary to feel the opening in the front of your right hip. Release the toe And if tented fingers still seems like too much, you can bring the hands onto the front knee. Feel the hips be heavy and down and forward, and the chest comes forward and up. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Let both hands come down to the mat. Let the left foot step back to meet the right. Tuck the toes under and let your hips find your heels. Forehead comes down to the floor. And send weight evenly into both hips to open the soles of your feet. Grip the mat with your hands and slide your body forward. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of your feet and your pelvis into the mat. Use your inhale to pull your chest forward and up. Collarbones are wide as the scapula are pushing down into the back body. Feeling this stretch in the front only. Use your exhale to come down. Tuck your toes. Press your hands into the mat and lift your hips up. Send your hips to your heels and take a pause. Use the inhale to come up into tabletop position and allow your right foot to step forward. From here, we're going to shift our weight into the back leg, finding the knee and the hip in line and creeping the right foot forward. Allow the toes to peel up and come towards you. If this is challenging, you can bring your hands closer to your hips, maybe on something to support you. And if this is easy, you can bring your hands forward. Trying to keep the spine just as long as this leg feels straight. Feel your navel pull in, anchor down into your right heel and actively pull your right sits bone back. Elongate through your spine as you inhale. And if there's space, allow your exhale to creep you forward. Shifting the weight forward, back into that front leg. Both hands plant down on your mat. Right foot meets the left. Toes tucked under, hips to heels. Pull your body forward, lay it down completely. Use your inhale to roll your shoulders back and pull your body forward and up. Exhale to come down. Tuck the toes. Press into your hands and your knees and let your hips come high. Allow your hips to come back to your heels for a moment, forehead on the floor. Your inhale pulls you back up into your tabletop position, and the left foot comes forward between your hands. Shifting the weight into the back leg, into the right leg, allow your knee and your hip to align, and maybe creep the left foot forward. Peel the toes up towards the shin, and maybe walk the hands back ever so slightly. This is too much for you, you can take a bolster or a block and bring one hand to the hip. Hanging out here is perfectly fine. Actively press your heel into the floor and pull your left sits bone back. Feeling this opening happening in the back of the left leg. Use your inhale to lengthen through your spine, navel in. Exhale, fold deeper into the pose. Try and keep your hips square. So the left hip is pulling back as the right one is actively pulling forward. Slowly shift the weight forward into that front leg. Plant both hands and step the left foot back to meet the right. Hips to heels, forehead to the floor. And use your in-breath to pull yourself forward. Lay yourself down. Adjust as necessary. And use your inhale to lift your chest forward and up. The exhale brings you down. Tuck your toes and lift your hips. Send the hips back to your heels, forehead to the floor, child's pose. As you breathe in, come up into tabletop. The right foot is going to step to the outside of your right hand. Let both hands find their way evenly under the shoulders. Maybe you need to step that left foot back a little bit to feel the opening on the inside of both hips, both legs. This is a great place to stay. Maybe you need a bolster to make this a little more comfortable for you. Or maybe coming down onto forearms is best. If you want to make this a little bit more movement based, you can tuck the back toe and lift the back knee, adding a little front and back motion to this pose. Slowly starting to make your way up. Let both hands ground down. Press into the hands. Lift the hips a little higher so that the right foot can meet the left at the back of the mat. Hips to heels, forehead to the floor. Take a moment here in your child's pose. Notice the sensations in your hips. The difference from left to right. Use your next inhale to pull yourself forward. Lay yourself completely down. And with your next inhale, roll your shoulders back and pull your chest forward and up. Exhale lowers you down. Tuck the toes, press up into tabletop, and then back into your child's pose. Just to reset the spine, inhale, tabletop, and the left foot will step to the outside of the left hand. Adjust the hands to find them under the shoulders. Hanging out here in the lizard pose, as the lizard looks forward for food and not down, keeping the spine long. Feel the hips be heavy, coming towards the floor. A bolster under the hands or under forearms may feel nice. Adding a little dynamic movement if you feel called to. Forward and back. Always with the gaze forward. If you've taken forearms, come on back up onto hands. Remove your bolster. Bring the weight into your hands and shift that left leg back to meet the right. Hips to heels. Forehead to the floor. Press your hands into the mat and bring your body forward. Lay it down. Adjust and wiggle as necessary. Use your inhale to lift your heart. Allow the exhale to bring you down. And we make our way back up into tabletop position by flowing through child's pose and coming up. Right foot will step to the outside of the right hand. Left hand is going to come a little bit closer to the top left corner of your mat. A little bit more towards 10 or 11 o'clock. We're going to bring the weight into the heel of the right foot and externally rotate so the pinky edge of the foot touches down. The foot is active here to protect the knee. Rolling the right shoulder open, nice and strong in that left shoulder, so we're not dipping into the shoulder, we're really engaging in that shoulder here. Hand can be on the knee, or maybe you extend the arm. If you feel called to and it's available, you can bend in the right foot, in the left foot, and maybe potentially grab. As the hips get heavy with your breath, your inhale is going to lengthen through the chest and turn the heart up towards the ceiling. Releasing the foot gradually and gracefully. Let the right hand come back down to the mat. Left hand comes back into center. And bring the weight into the right heel so the toes can point forward once again. Right foot is going to send back to meet the left. Same little vinyasa here as always. Bring the hips down towards the heels, forehead to the floor. Notice the sensation between left and right hip. Pull the body forward, lay it down completely. Use your inhale to lift your chest. And the exhale will bring you down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, send them back to the heels, forehead comes back down onto the floor. Inhale brings you back up into your tabletop. And your left foot, eager and excited to do the same pose, comes forward of the left foot. Right hand is going to come out to about 2 or 3 o'clock, just a little bit out into the right of your mat. Nice and strong in that right shoulder. Left heel is going to press down into the mat. Externally rotate the knee so it comes out to the side and press the pinky edge of the left foot into the mat. As you inhale, open your chest to the left. Extend the arm up to the ceiling, or maybe you want to keep it on the knee. You can hang out here. The hand comes out towards the ceiling. You can bend into the right leg and maybe grab for the back foot. Use your inhales to elongate through the spine and stay strong in the shoulder girdle. And use your exhale to let your hips sink down. As you breathe in, lift the chest and rotate towards the ceiling. Use your inhale to get strong in the pose. Release that foot. Nice and gradual, graceful landing. Left hand and right hand come back into position. And the left foot is going to step back to meet the right. Allow the hips to come back to your heels and do a little check-in. How do your hips feel now? As yogis, we crave balance. Do your hips feel balanced right now? One more pose. Inhale, come forward, lay the body down. Inhale, lifts the chest. Exhale, brings you down. Tuck the toes, back to child's pose. Inhale into tabletop. We're going to bring the right knee towards the center of the chest and then drop the knee down behind the right wrist. Allow the foot to kickstand slightly. And you're going to creep your back leg back so that you feel your heel just above your hip bone. Checking to see where that back leg is, that it's not splaying out, that it's in line with the body. Think about the pigeon as the tail is an extension of their spine from the top of your head all the way down through the vertebral column and out through the tailbone to the pinky toe or the big toe. Both hands can stay on the mat here. Envision that there is an imaginary wall on your left hip and you're going to press your left hip into the wall. This way not all the weight is into the right hip and there's an even distribution of weight in both hips. Use the inhale to lift your chest and the exhale to sink your hips. Few different options here. Right hand can come to the center of the mat. Left hand can reach around towards the back of the room. If you choose to, you can bend in the left leg and grab with the left foot with the arm and actively pull your chest towards the front of the room so you get a bit of a shoulder opening here. Stay long in the body, long in the spine. This option doesn't work for you, you can always come forward, down to forearms, maybe using a bolster or a block for the forearms, or maybe making your way all the way down. Finding the spot that's most comfortable for you, and allowing your inhales and exhales to bring ease into the hip. As a little self-adjustment, you can bring your right thumb into your right hip crease and actively pull it back. You'll notice that there's a shift in the pelvis when you do this, and you may notice that your hip is able to go a little bit lower. It doesn't work for everyone, but you can always give it a try. Slowly, when you feel ready, we're going to start to come out of this pose. Bringing both hands to the mat. Tuck your back toe and allow that space to lift the hips up. We're just going to do that one more time. So you're almost in a tabletop pose. You're going to slide that right foot back and bring it up towards the ceiling. Oh, reach it back, maybe open the hip a little bit, a little wiggle in the toe. The knee, just allowing the lactic acid to flow. And bring that right knee back down. Let your hips find your heels, forehead to the floor. Notice the difference in both hips. Slowly start to bring your body forward onto the mat. Use the inhale to lift your chest and the exhale to lower you down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, send them back to the heels, forehead on the mat. Inhale brings you up into tabletop. And we'll prepare for the other side. So bring the left knee into the center of your chest, give it a little squeeze round the back. Then we're going to bring the foot to the outside as the knee comes down by the by the wrist. So left knee, left wrist. And the foot is going to point out to the side. So the top of the shin and the top of the foot is on the floor. Start to creep that back leg back a little bit until you feel the sensation starting into the outer hip, outer glute. And you'll find the place, you'll know when you get to the sweet spot that doesn't feel so sweet. Just sweet discomfort. The toe can stay tucked under if you feel this a little bit weird in your knees. And start to bring even weight distribution in both hips. So you can always envision that wall now on your right side to actively push into that right hip a little bit more, and you'll feel the sensation in that left hip get a little bit different. Bring your left thumb into your left hip crease and actively pull that hip back. So we're really feeling the pelvis get square here. With both hands onto the mat, feel the inhale, pull your chest forward like you're in cow belly pose. Left hand is going to come to the center of the mat, and the right hand is going to come up and back behind you. Lift the right foot, maybe grab for the foot with the hand. And we're going to use the inhale to pull the chest forward. So we feel this into the shoulder. Feel the spine stay long. Side body stays long. Chest lifts up, feeling this in the front body, from the right knee all the way up through the front of the chest. No pinching in the lower back. Slowly release the foot. Let both hands come forward. And from here, we're going to slowly start to walk the body down. Maybe hanging out on forearms for now. Maybe a bolster or block under the forearms. Actively, continuously pressing out with that right hip. So the left hip comes back into center. Maybe you come all the way down. Bring your attention into the tight places. Use your inhale to fill it with lightness. And allow black smoke to be visually exhaled. Moving what no longer serves you. Stagnant emotions. Maybe sighing it out through an open mouth feels right. Slowly starting to make your way up. Press both hands into the mat. Tuck the back foot and allow the knee to come closer. And do it again. Tuck the back toe, bring the knee even closer. With the right left leg comes, send right back, straight with the body. Maybe lift the hip, little circle with the knee and the ankle. Allowing lactic acid to flow. Allow your hips to come towards your heels and take rest in child's pose. Be heavy with your hips heavy with your body, feel supported by the earth. Relax your jaw. Spread your hands and slowly lower your body down completely. Allow your upper arm to run parallel to the floor, perpendicular to the floor. Press your palms into the mat and use your inhale to feel your chest pull forward. Press the toes into the mat, pubic bone into the mat, and bring attention to the space under your navel. Use your inhale to lift the flesh under your navel off the mat. And use your exhale to pull it forward and lay it back down. We're actually lengthening the belly. Let's try that again. Inhale, lift the flesh. Pull it forward, exhale, lay it down. Press the hands into the mat, let your elbows splay wide. Both hands make a pillow for your face. And a little wiggle in your hips. From here, you're going to slide one hand under the body and roll over onto your back. Allow the soles of your feet to touch down onto the floor. Maybe your hands can even touch the back of your ankles. And your feet are going to be as wide as your hips apart. Press your feet firmly into the floor, the top of your head, or the back of your head, and your shoulders, even your hands into the mat. Use your inhale to start to pull your pelvis towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Feel the back body being strengthened as you send your hips even higher with your next in-breath. Maybe rolling onto the shoulders ever so slightly. And as you breathe out, lift your heels and start to drop the spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. Tailbone touches down last, and then the heels come down. Bring your hands to your belly. Take a full, complete inhale. And a long exhale. Continue as you feel needed. Let both hands come down to the mat. Press your hands firmly into the floor, feet back of the head and shoulders. Use the inhale to press and pull the hips up towards the ceiling. Gaze is up at the ceiling, or maybe you're watching the breath move through your body. Use the inhale to lift the hips higher. Feel the glutes engage. Front of the hips are opening. Breath is moving through the body. And when you feel ready to come down, lift your heels. Slowly, vertebra by vertebra, lower the body down. The tailbone touches last, and then the heels. Allow a tick-tocking motion with the knees to happen if that feels calling. And if you want to bring your knees into chest for a little squeeze, feel free to do so. Allow both soles of the feet to come back down to the floor. Lift the right leg and cross it over your left. Let the right hand come through the space created in the legs, and the left hand's going to wrap around, interlacing below the kneecap or below the joint. Keep your tailbone grounded and your shoulders on the mat. Use your inhale to elongate through the spine. And allow your exhale to bend in the elbows, bringing that leg a little bit closer to you. If this pose is easy, you can always extend this leg towards the ceiling. Or you can go for a full bind around that leg. So we're actively pulling that leg in with the arms instead of using the support of the leg. One more deep breath in. One more squeeze as you breathe out. Slowly release. Allow the left foot and the right foot to touch down. Close your eyes, take a moment, and notice the difference from left to right. Left foot's excited, sending up. Left ankle's gonna come over the right foot, right knee. Left hand goes through the hole you've created, and the right hand's gonna wrap around, interlacing below the kneecap or under the thigh. Using the inhale to feel the spine grow long, send your tailbone down in the opposite direction as the top of your head. And as you exhale, bend in the elbows and feel that left leg come closer to your body. Notice the difference from left to right. Which leg is tighter? Which leg needs a little bit more attention or seems to be supporting and holding you up a little bit more? Breathing in, get long in the spine. Exhale, give yourself another little squeeze. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Slowly release both legs. Right foot touches down, left foot touches down. Close your eyes, hands on the belly. Allow your feet to creep to the outside edges of your mat and your knees to knock together. This allows space in the lower back. Take a few deep breaths. Notice how you are supported by the earth below you. Allow your jaw to soften. You can press your elbows into the floor and allow your shoulder blades to lay flat on the mat. And from here, start to extend out through the legs. Preparing for Shavasana however you feel called to. If you want to put some socks on or a blankie, feel free to do so. And allow your body to begin to settle. Relax the muscles in your face. In your jaw. Allow your tongue to drop. Feel your shoulders melt into the earth. Notice how any gripping in the muscles in the face and the neck, the shoulders all melt away with your next exhale. And as you continue to breathe, notice the pockets of tension throughout your body release. The arms, in your chest, in your belly, feel your hips sink down into the floor. Melting away from the midline. Feel the tension release out of your hip crease, your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, even the toes. Sinking deeper with each exhale. Staying here as long as needed. Staying still.